All right, we start with the Cleveland Cavaliers, Game 6 tonight in Orlando. Unfortunately, the Cavs have lost the 2 games played on their floor. What is it, the Amway Center? I believe that's what it's called. They've lost them by a combined 61 points. They've blown off the floor in both third quarters. In fact, in Game 4, the Cavs were outscored 37-10 in the third quarter after building a first-half lead. Go figure. Here's the question we have. Who's the X factor for tonight's Game 6?
The X factor to me is Karis LeVert. Karis LeVert he was a no-show in Game 5. He 3 points, like that's not gonna get it done. Now, mind you, Karis LeVert is a guy that can get you 50 in this league. He's done it before. He's supposed to be instant offense, and if you're not gonna get it done in the road. He didn't get it done at home. So I don't know if you can count on him on the road. The others have to show up. The others got to do something. But this series for the others have been horrible. Max Strus hasn't shown up. Niang is on the milk box. Karis LeVert is a guy that hasn't done much as far as offensively in this series. And they're going to need his outside scoring, his playmaking ability, especially if Darius Garland isn't on the floor. I think he has to have a big game for them to win.
Strus did play well in the second half.
He had some moments in the fourth quarter.
Until then, he'd done nothing. Niang, I think, is out of the rotation.
Didn't even play.
Morris has taken his spot. To me, guys, the X factor is not a player. It's the coach. It's JB.
Oh, good one.
Because there's a big decision tonight. If Jarrett Allen is able to play, we've seen all year that this team has played better. We saw it again in Game 5. Their offensive game is better when they have one big man, whether it's Allen or Mobley, on the floor. We talked a little bit about this on yesterday's show, that if Allen's back, we would start both of them together. But I would play the majority of the game with only one of the 2 big men on the floor, the 4 guys on the outside, because that's when this team is at its best offensively.
Yeah, no, I wish they would do that too. We saw when they were 18-2 from January into February.
Right.
That's what they look like. They had 1 in, 4 out. Their shooting was incredible. Their spacing was there. I like both of your X factors, but I'm going with, like, I thought that I wouldn't be the only one that had this X factor, but I need Jarrett Allen. He's my X factor. If he doesn't play, there's a Game 7, 100%. If he does play, I think there's a 5 or 10% chance that they close it out in Orlando tonight. I just don't think he's been, to me, the best overvalue player in this series for the Cavs. If you look at Paolo Banchero for Orlando, his numbers over regular season are why they're where they are.
Yeah.
And for the Cavs, that guy has been Jarrett Allen. And that's what you want in the playoffs. Somebody needs to put on the cape. It has not been the guy that everyone needs to put the cape on, Donovan Mitchell. It has not been Darius Garland. You mentioned the acquisitions that they had. Niang didn't even see the floor in Game 5.
Nope.
And probably won't moving forward. Morris played great. So I think Jarrett Allen has to, if he has to play, and he has to continue to play above his baseline, and then they have a small chance to win tonight.
And when you talk about X factors, it's not just the X factors having good games. They need their other 2 guys to have their regular games. You need Donovan Mitchell at 28. You need Darius Garland around 20. And then on top of that, you need the X factor to come in and give you what you want. I just really quickly go watch the game against New York and Philadelphia. Jalen Brunson, 41 points. He refused to let his team lose. You need one of those type, plays in that type of play from your guy Donovan Mitchell. But you're gonna need guys to hit shots and do things as well as knock down jumpers on the road.
I'm glad you mentioned Brunson. He is the epitome of the guy who will say, get on my back. I'm going to do more than I'm supposed to do because you guys need someone to pick up the slack. Cavs really do need that guy to be Donovan Mitchell. But for whatever reason, he hasn't exactly been that guy. Even though he scored a lot of points in Game 5, he missed a ton of shots.
You look at his shooting, like the first game he was great. And then the first quarter, Game 2, he shot well. Since then, his shooting's been pretty bad.
Yeah, it's fallen off. JB is a major concern, too.
Yeah, no doubt.
He's just been a major concern. His career playoff record is woeful. It'd be nice if they could get this done now because everybody else is done. I just don't feel like it's going to work out that way. Okay, which former Cavs role player would you most like to have in a uniform tonight for Game 6? Now, the question was a little vague.
Yeah.
It reminded me of Michael Jordan's response recently when he was asked, if the Bulls were to play LeBron's Lakers right now, who would win? And he said, the Bulls. By how many? He said, by 2 or 3. He said, why so close? He said, well, most of us are in our 60s.
That's funny.
So I kind of looked at this question the same way. Are you talking about someone right? And I went right now, a guy that's still playing in the NBA right now. I know by your responses, I figured out. So I have to say that right now. I just limited it to guys that are in the league, and who would I like to have right now?
Okay.
Like, I know one of you is going to say Mo Williams. I don't want Mo Williams on this team. He's old, and there are issues.
Yes. All right, I was going in their prime, and am I first, Anthony?
Yeah, you start.
So I was going in their prime, and I need, the Cavs have not shot well. I need a guy who can knock down threes from anywhere. So I went with Kyle Korver.
Oh, interesting.
And I know he wasn't even in his prime here, really, so it's probably not even fair. But like the guy's an all-time great three-point shooter, 43%.
And definitely a role guy.
Yeah,
definitely. He had a very defined role, and he played it well.
He could come out. I bet you at his age he could still knock down threes.
I once asked Tim Legler a couple of years ago, who was an NBA three-point shooting champion, what percent, and we had him on the show, and we talked about it when he was on the show.
Almost 50%.
What percent of threes could you hit right now? And he goes, just standing there, nobody in my face? Yeah. Over 50%.
Yeah.
Once a shooter, always a shooter.
Yeah,
that's right.
I went along the same lines with Bull. I got me another shooter, Mr. J.R. Swish. I got J.R. Not only people forget, J.R. a lot of times was one of the defenders that they put on other teams' best players.
Yeah. No, he was a great role player.
Really great role player. People remember him sometimes for the no shirt and the soup incident and obviously
the timeout.
But people don't realize J.R. Smith, when he got it going for them 16 Cavaliers, J.R. Smith was one of the most difficult shot takers and shot makers in the league. I mean, when you go watch that playoff game against the Warriors, he hit 2 or 3 really big three-pointers coming out of halftime.
I don't know that they win the championship without J.R.
No, they were in trouble at that point.
Yes, they were.
They were.
Yeah. And so that's a good one. Now, I tell the story about Michael Jordan and the Bulls because I went right now, like who in the league right now.
Sure.
And even though this player was injured at the end of the year, and I don't even think he's a role player now. He's gone from role player to superstar or key player. But I'm going with Lauri Markkanen because, first of all, we need a catch-and-shoot guy. And Lauri Markkanen can catch and shoot with the best of them. He might be one of the best catch-and-shoot guys in the NBA. Look at his percentage from three-point range. Now, he was a role player when he was here, and he was a role player in Chicago. But he's a mainstay now.
Not no more.
In fact, so much so, LeBron, when asked recently on a podcast about acquisitions, potential guys that he'd like to get, he loves Lauri Markkanen and wants to play with him, which was that's interesting to me.
Yeah.
So I wish more than anything we still had Lauri Markkanen because tonight I think we could have a puncher's chance if he was in the lineup.
I always wonder, what if they keep Lauri Markkanen or the Cavs, what would they look like?
What would they look like? Yeah, because.
But didn't make the Mitchell trade?
He did. He was part of the Mitchell trade.
No, I'm saying, you're saying not make the Mitchell trade?
If you didn't make the Mitchell trade.
No, if you were able to make that trade without giving up that piece.
So
you made the trade.
Maybe the piece, I don't know, maybe it was Jared Allen.
Or Korver.
Maybe it was Mobley. I don't know.
Maybe he would have never broken out the way he did, although, because he hadn't been that good a player.
No, he went from 15, 16 points a game to I think last year he was 25 points and 8 rebounds.
But yes, in theory, if you could get him back, and he is not really a role player at this point.
No, but he was when he was here.
Yeah, I mean, that would be pretty sweet.
All right, let's make our picks. Who wins?
I got the Magic winning tonight in a closer game. They're not getting blown out, but I got them. The Magic winning tonight before the Cavs win Game 7 on Sunday. Unfortunately,
I got the Magic winning. I think this game is close, but it gets spread out to about a 10-point game in the fourth quarter.
I'm going layers on my prediction. I'm predicting, and not news-based, just this is my gut. They rest Jared Allen. Imagine you play him, he dings the ribs, and he's unavailable for the game that you can and should win here in Cleveland. My pick is they err on the side of caution. They know what they've been in Orlando. Awful. They waved the white flag in essence by not putting Jared Allen out there. I agree with you, it will be closer, but closer than 30.5 points, which has been the average margin of defeat. They'll lose by double digits. They'll come back in Game 7 on Sunday and win a very hard-fought, very close game down the stretch, much like Game 5. All right. You want to give a pick real quick, Anthony, before we go to break? Who's going to win?
I think it's unfortunately going to be the Magic. I don't have a lot of confidence in the Cavs going on the road, but I do think that they can come back in Game 7 and win it here.
Well, we're all picking the same thing, so
I
maybe
can't
we'll be wrong.
remember the time we all picked against the Cleveland team in a big game, but that's where we are.
We ain't crazy.
No, we're not. When we saw what happens in games 3 and